Good day everyone. At this moment, I will discuss the COA's authority to recommend administrative sanction. Imagine a referee blowing the whistle on misconduct in government transactions. That's the Commission on Audit's role. It doesn't just identify the faults. It recommends the penalties and ensures that the public funds are restored to their rightful purpose. Let's dive into how COAs hold officials accountable and keeps fiscal discipline alive. The COA does not impose sanctions directly, but its findings are powerful enough to set the ball rolling. Here's how it works. The COA's authority have two legal bases. First is the Article 9-7, Section 2 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution grants COA the authority to audit public funds and report irregularities. The second is Presidential Decree number 1445 defines COA's role in ensuring accountable for financial misalignment. So when the COA spot negligence, fraud, and misconduct, it recommends sanctions to oversight bodies like the Office of the Ombudsman, Civil Service Commission, and the agency heads. There are also types of sanction recommended. First is the suspension. Officials are temporarily stopped from performing duties during the investigation. Second is the dismissal. For severe violation, permanent removal from the office is recommended. Third one is the demotion or reassignment. Least severe cases will lead to a step down in rank or new responsibilities. The last one is the fines and penalties. Additional corrective measures for the financial infractions. We have also here the impact on official and agencies. The accountability. Officials and employees are deterred from repeating violations. Second is integrity. Public service is strengthened and misconduct is addressed heads-on. So let's move forward to the COA's role in ensuring recovery of misused funds. When public funds are misused, COA steps in to make things right. Its mechanism for recovery ensure those resources return to where they belong, which is the people. They have a mechanism for recovery. First is the issuance of notice of disallowance, also known as INDIS. COA mandates the refund of misused amounts through INDIS, which directly hold officials accountable. Second is the collaboration with Ombudsman. In case of corruption, COA works closely with the Ombudsman to pursue legal action and recover funds. Third one is the court proceeding. COA's findings often serve as evidence in corruption cases filed before the judicial bodies like the Sandigang Bayan. And the last mechanism is the administrative directives. The COAs recommend measures to recover lost funds, such as withholding salaries or allowances from liable individuals. There are also significance of fund recovery. Fund recovery is more than just a number. It's about restoring trust. And they have here the redirecting public resources. It ensures taxpayers' money fulfills its intended purpose. The accountability. holding individuals liable for misaligned sends a clear message. And we have here the trust in governance. It demonstrates that the government's commitment to ethical practices and corrective actions. So although its authority to recommend sanctions and ensure funds recovery, the COAS plays a pivotal role in upholding fiscal accountability and good governance. Whether it's a penalizing misconduct or recovering misused resources, the COAS work ensure that the public funds benefit the people, not line in the pocket of a few.
What do a pork barrel scam? Ghost claims. And overpriced laptops had been in common. They're all caught under the eagle eye scrutiny of the Commission on Audit or COA. Let's explore some of the most jaw-dropping cases that show how COA ensures public funds serve the public, not the pockets of few. First is the Priority Development Assistance Fund or PDAF scam. This case is infamous, a true landmark in corruption scandals. COA discovered that lawmakers had rerouted money meant for development projects into fake NGOs, turning the pork barrel system into a cash buffet for fraudsters. A jaw-dropping 10 billion pesos vanished into thin air. COA's investigations sparked outrage, leading to the Supreme Court declaring PDAF unconstitutional and charges of plunder against high-profile officials. This was a game changer for fund allocation. It tightened transparency measures and ushered in major reforms to prevent future misuse. Second is the PhilHealth Fund's anomalies on 2020. In the middle of the pandemic, while the nation is scrambling to save lives, billions of pesos vanished from the country's healthcare system. COA unearthed fraudulent activities in PhilHealth ranging from overpriced IT system to ghost claims. Yes, claims for patients who didn't even exist. About 15 billion pesos was lost, triggering congressional investigations and leading to the resignation of key officials. It is spotlighted the importance of auditing emergency response funds and push for reforms in healthcare governance. Third is the procurement issues in DepEd on 2022. This case might sound like a comedy of errors, but it's no laughing matter. Teachers were handed laptops that could barely function at a sky-high cost. COA flagged DepEd's procurement of laptops that were outdated, overpriced, and utterly incapable of meeting educators' needs. Public funds were wasted, and investigations into accountability are still ongoing. This case underscored the critical importance of transparency and adherence to procurement policies in government spending. These cases aren't just cautionary tales, they're blueprints for better governance. Here's what we can take away. First is the need of vigilance. COA's meticulous audits are essential in catching irregularities, whether in healthcare, education, or governance projects. Strengthen governance. COA's actions have set the bar higher for transparency and accountability in public fund management. Third is ongoing reform. Each case highlights areas where systems need fixing, from procurement policies to disaster response protocols. From scams to scandals, COA has been at the forefront of uncovering misuse and steering public funds back to their rightful purposes. These cases remind us why vigilance, transparency, and accountability matter. With COA leading the charge, mismanagement doesn't stand a chance.
How COA upholds fairness. Fairness isn't just a buzzword, it's the backbone of every decision made by the Commission on Audit or COA. Whether it's flagging irregularities or recommending sanctions, COA ensures that everyone gets the chance to be heard. This is how COA balances accountability with impartiality. Mechanism to uphold fairness. COA doesn't point fingers without giving people a voice. Here's how it ensures justice. First, right to respond. Before issuing notice of disallowances, COA gives concerned parties a chance to explain transaction flagged during audits. Whether it's missing receipts or unclear expenditure, official can submit documents, counter-arguments, or clarification to defend their case. Second, transparent processes. COA doesn't make rules on whim. Its procedures are rooted in the Government Auditing Code of the Philippines, or PD number 1445, and other frameworks. Audit reports are based on purely objective evidence, no bias, no guesswork. The third one is appeal mechanism. If anyone feels that COA findings are erroneous or unjust, they can file appeals because fairness isn't about being final. It's about being thorough. The appeals process ensures due process and impartiality for all. By safeguarding this mechanism, COA builds trust and credibility as a truly independent institution. Steps in appeals process. Think of COA appeals process as a fairness ladder, allowing decision to be thoroughly reviewed at every step. Step 1. Filing an appeal with COA proper. Concerned parties submit their case to COA proper, led by the chairperson and commissioners. This appeal must include a formal request for reconsideration, supporting documents and evidence challenging the audit findings. The COA proper review the appeal and can uphold, modify, or overturn the original decision. Step 2. Petition for review with Court of Appeals. If COA proper's ruling isn't favorable, the case can be elevated to the Court of Appeals. Here, appellants must show legal grounds, procedural lapses, or the misapplication of laws. Third, appeal to the Supreme Court. As a final recourse, parties can take the case to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court checks for constitutional or legal errors before issuing a final binding decision. Significance of appeals in process. Why does COA emphasize fairness in every steps? Here's the impact. First, protecting rights. The process shields individuals and agencies from arbitrary decisions, ensuring everyone gets due process. Second, accountability. Multiple levels of scrutiny uphold COA's commitment to accurate and just auditing. Third, is building trust. Transparency in appeals reinforce public confidence in COA's integrity. At COA, fairness isn't optional, it's fundamental. From mechanism that ensures impartiality to a structured appeals process, COA upholds justice while safeguarding accountability. It's this balance that strengthens trust in public governance.
Ground and process for appealing COA's decision. What happens when someone disagrees with a decision made by the COA? Luckily, there's a well-defined path for appeals because fairness is at the heart of COA's operation. Let's explore the ground of appeals and how the process works. First, ground on which COA's decision can be appealed. Think of this as the key reasons of someone might challenge COA's rulings. Errors and findings. Imagine COA misinterprets financial records or makes errors in its findings. These disputes can form the basis for an appeal. Second, procedural lapses. Allegation of COA's skipping proper process or timeline or claims of bias during decision making also count as valid grounds. Third is legal ambiguities. What if there's disagreement over how laws were applied?
appeals can address unclear or potentially unconstitutional actions. 4. New evidence. Sometimes fresh documents or testimonies emerge that could significantly change the case. This too can justify an appeal. 5th is the violation of rights. Denial of due process, like failing to give someone a chance to explain discrepancies, is another critical reason of appeal. This appeal ground provide fairness, ensuring that agencies and officials get a chance to challenge decisions they feel are unjust. Second, process flow, QA to judiciary. Appeals aren't decided on a whim. There's a constructed pathway to follow. There's how the process flows. Step 1. Appeal to the QA proper. Parties submit their requests for reconsideration to the QA proper, led by the chairperson and commissioners. The QA proper carefully reviews evidence, arguments, and compliance with audit standard before deciding. If the appeal is denied, the matter can be taken to court. Step 2. The petition for review with the Regional Trial Court or RTC. Dissatisfied parties can file a petition for review with the RTC, particularly for administrative deputies. The RTC evaluates both procedural and substantive legal issues raised by the appeal. Step 3. Appeal to the Court of Appeals. Don't like the RTC decisions, parties can escalate the case to the Court Appeals. This court examination any errors in the RTC ruling or unresolved legal question with the power to uphold, reverse, and modify the decisions. Step 4. Elevating the case to the Supreme Court. As a last resort, the case can be brought to the Supreme Court through the petition or certiorari or similar remedies. The Supreme Court checks for constitutional violations, legal missteps, or abuse for discretion, making its ruling final and binding. This multi-layered process isn't just bureaucratic. It's a safeguard for fairness. Here's why it matters. Accountability. Every decision undergoes through the legal scrutiny, ensuring no stone is left unturned. Second, protection of rights by allowing multiple levels review and process ensure everyone gets a fair chance to be heard. Third is objective standard. The process resolves disputes using clear legal guidelines, maintaining trust and governance. From errors and finding to denial of rights, QA's appeal process is designed to ensure every voice is heard and every decision is fair. Its cornerstone of accountability, transparency, and trust. Values can keep governance strong and just.